There's a movie called Skinned, and that the title is what jumped at me. We'll be talking to the executive producers and producers of the movie in the studio to tell us more about what's behind it, what went into it, and the cast. Fantastic. I mean, I'm already sold before they even say a word. Let me introduce the executive producer, Dr. Kula. Dr. Kula, good morning to you. Welcome to the show. And also Lawton Yiani, also executive producer and producer of Skinned. Why Skinned? What's Skinned? What's behind it?
Well, obviously we were inspired by some personal experiences about the whole skin bleaching thing, so that's the inspiration is really because we do have some people that we know that have gone through this type of experience with bleaching. So I wanted to do a story or a film about it, but didn't really know what we could do. And Dr. Kula wrote an amazing story about Jasmine. That Jasmine Burke is playing Jolie, and it's a phenomenal story, love story, of course.
Wow, that's actually an interesting topic, because I think about 2 weeks ago, I mean, the FDA is banning the skin bleaching agent by August. They're going to get that off our market. So share with me how that experience is like for you. Have you been tempted to do that because you have dark skin? Yes. And I know, and where you grew up, I can imagine the pressure.
Yeah, for me, when I wrote the story, talking about the skin bleaching, but talking from a dark skin person's perspective, especially living in America. When I first got abroad, you know, most people in America are very light skinned. And so you don't usually see people like us all the time. So when I got there back in the 80s, everybody looked at me like, oh my God, you're so dark. You know, there's a scene in the movie where they were trying to wipe off the girl's skin. That actually happened to me in the restroom at school. A girl was like, it's not possible for someone to be that dark. And so for us, we've lived through that. We've heard the negative comments about being dark skinned, especially in the US. And so coming from an African perspective, where a few years later, you see even the African women are having issues. We're naturally dark skinned women. We're okay with that. But then all of a sudden, we want to bleach our skins. We want to look different, you know, but what we fail to realize is there are a lot of substances in those creams that are not good for us health-wise. And so that's the gist of.
Okay, all right. Even I know that even in America, among black girls, the lighter skin, you know, is preferred, and the dark skin feel discriminated against by their own race. How is that? How do you live with that?
Well, for me, I didn't even really know that I was a dark-skinned girl. I think, you know, as I was an athlete, it's the thing, when you're very confident, you know, you focus on those things, right? But when I got to the age where men started to pay attention to me, I think that's when I noticed that I was different, or that I may not have been preferred, but I never really knew that. But then I'm confident enough, or I thought I was confident enough to not want to alter myself to please those people. But I had a sibling basically that did that. And while she was going through her transition, you know, from dark like me to a little bit fair, they told me I should bleach as well. You know, so it was just like, okay, because now I'm the black one in the family, you know, so I'm like, well, I've always been black, you know. So it's definitely a unique experience, knowing that your tone is something that's considered beautiful or not, that your spirit or even your features is not, that's not it. It's like immediately when somebody sees you, your color can be a turn off to those people.
Okay, so but those people that, you know, lighten, tone, bleach their skin, they draw inspiration from celebrities.
Absolutely,
from people who are on television. And advertisers have made it a standard. The lighter you are, you get a cover of the magazine. Without it, so how do you think we can sift it out of the system then? Because if you're seeing it, I mean, I know people who mention Nicki Minaj's name, they will mention Beyonce's name, they say, no, they're lighter now. So if it's beautiful, why isn't I shouldn't do it? How do you think we can get around it?
Well, definitely, it is a mental state of mind, honestly, because yes, the ads are there. Yes, the news programs are there. Yes, we see all these people and we say, oh, they're beautiful because of, you know, the media says they're beautiful. But ultimately, it lies with us. Beauty comes from within. The media is not going to stop doing what they're doing. They're going to continue. That's just life. But we as people have to get to the place where we're confident enough to understand that, yes, I'm beautiful. I don't have to be lighter. I may not get this job promotion because I'm darker, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And so for me personally, I think it's gotten a little bit better since in the U.S. since I was a kid, but it's still not where it needs to be.
Well, actually, it isn't. I think it is getting better. I mean, obviously, Lupita I feel like we need to see
Stunning.
some more.
Look at her lips, look at that face and the cheekbones.
She's so beautiful. So I think we need to see more darker complected individuals in the celebrity status or roles. So in the US, Miss USA is from Washington, D.C., and she's as black as Dr. Kula and myself. So those are things, I mean, I know people say beauty is from within. It's true, but people see you from the outside, you know? So we do need to show some more images of darker women who are just as beautiful. I mean, I definitely think that I'm a looker myself. You know, so despite my color, you know, I definitely think that I'm a beautiful woman. And if I show that, and if young girls see me as a beautiful woman doing productive things, they will be inspired too. But if they only see Lisa Ray McCoy, or they only see Nicki Minaj or Beyonce in those types of positions, then it's like, you know, maybe the only reason why they will think that they look a certain way. So think about it. It's not just the color of your skin now. It's also the hair. You know, people's hair, their body. People, Nicki Minaj, you feel like they need to have a bum.
Voluptuous.
Yes.
Curvaceous.
Right. So now it's, so you see, it's just perpetuating.
But even those who are trying to live as who they are, like you're living, like Lupita Nyong'o. I remember when her magazine cover came out, there was criticism that they had made her lighter. So yes, you might want to live like that, but there's a certain prescription that if you're not strong mentally, you will not be able to overcome that. So what message would you give to certain people, and what would you want people to take out of the movie Skinned? Love yourself. That's it. And yourself is not necessarily just your exterior. You know, character, personality, energy, your family. There's so much more to life and to love than just your aesthetics. You know, and I know it's important, obviously, as a woman, and I am, you know, I'm in the public in a sense. So yes, my exterior matters, but to me, I feel just as beautiful in sweats and, you know, with no makeup on as I do with a full face, you know. So empowerment. Same for you as well, you know, what you want them to take out from watching the movie. What would be the opening for them? Truly, we have to learn to love ourselves, you know, and to stop perpetuating these types of things in the society on our children. And there's certain scenes in there where we talk about that family members can also perpetuate these types of behavior. Because think about it, I have a brother who's lighter than you. And when we were growing up, people would say, he's not your brother. You know, oh my gosh. How is that possible? How is it possible? I'm like, he is my brother. They used to tell me he was adopted because back then he looked like he was Puerto Rican. And here I am as dark as, you know. So it was always different. So in the movie, we see the families like that. We have sisters. One is dark. The others are light. So we put in a lot of personal things in the film because we want people to know that it starts somewhere. And if it's in your home, then it's in the media, then it's at school, and it's everywhere, then it's a problem. Yes. And why did you decide to do the collaboration? You have Ghanaians in there, I would imagine you have Nigerians in there, and then you have the Yankeefied Americans also in there. Yes. No, why did you decide to touch on it and pick that? For me, this is my first movie. And I've always, because I'm from Liberia originally, and my grandfather's from Takoradi, so I'm also Ghanaian too. I'm from Takoradi. So yeah, right. So, and even though I live in the U.S., I've always, anytime I want to do something I like to do, I call bridging the gap. So for us, for the U.S., for them to even pay attention to movies that, or stories that are important to Africans, their people need to be represented as well. So sometimes it's difficult to have, you know, African movies cross over to the U.S. because there's no American representation. So with this one, we wanted to have, for me, in order for the message to be received domestically and internationally, I wanted a blended cast. And I made that clear to Dr. Kula. I'm like, whatever you do, we need Americans, we need Africans, but we definitely need it to be blended. So that was my... Dr. Kula, are you surprised by the numbers? It's unfortunate that the data in Ghana is not really out there, but I think the World Health Organization report that they put out on bleaching, over 70% of Nigerian women have had some form of skin lightening or bleaching done on their skin. And especially with the level of education, does that worry you? For me, it does, because as an educated woman myself, you know, the higher up you get in education, you think little things like this you would pick up, you know, but some people don't, because as an educated woman, I can read articles. I can read the back of a cream and see the substances, because a lot of the boxes do have that in the fine print, but no one's reading the fine print. Everybody is concerned about what I'm going to look like in the final analysis. Yeah, but what about what's going to happen to you during your altercation of your skin? And they're not reading that. But as an educated person, you should be reading that. So when I heard 77% of women in Nigeria, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Because a lot of my friends are Nigerians, and they're very intelligent women, you know, and they step out for so many different causes. And I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't you step out for something like this?
this is more important.
So yeah, I just want to add something too. Although there is a large percentage of Nigerian women that bleach, this is a global issue. Of course, yes. You know, the Chinese people, Japanese, Indians,
they whiten.
They whiten
because they want to look because of and then you know because of their eyes, sometimes they do surgeries to get it open.
They want to stay. So the thing is, the only reason why Africans, is paying attention to us is because it's extreme for us. For me to go from black to black.
Yes.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Even
not even from lighter to even Michael Jackson.
Yeah, to Michael Jackson. No, so it's much more noticeable. There are other people. So I don't want Africans or us to think like this is only an African or a Ghanaian or a Nigerian problem or a Liberian problem. This is a global thing. Hence why the World Health Organization is now paying attention to those substances.
Well, maybe because they're worried because sometimes they're looking at the poverty level. They're looking at education level. They're looking at the health facility. Sometimes damage their skin and have the money to repair it.
Abuse and anything you overuse, you abuse for a long time is going to have effects on your body. Anything, alcohol, drugs, you know. So it's not just the creams, but definitely with abuse, there's going to be consequences for that.
Okay, when are we showing the movie? Because I am excited. I'm sold. I want to be there. I'm going to be there tonight.
At Silverbird, Ghana, Accra Mall, and Silverbird, West Hills, 7 p.m. Please be there. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. It's going to be an awesome time.
I am telling you, I'll be there. Skinned. And one person who is champion skinned is Amake Ababra. She's a former host of this show. And she's champion, you know, I love my natural skin. That was I love my natural skin tone. And it's such a successful campaign because she went to schools because the young girls are bleaching. Very young. JHS, you know, are bleaching. They don't even know why, but because they're preferred. And it happens if I was casting people and you won't believe I picked on the light skinned people. And then later on I went back and I said, oh, but the dark skin actually look good. Because of what I have seen and in my mind, it has an impact. So I want to see that movie and educate myself first. So Silverbird Cinemas tonight at 7 p.m. Also wager if you're, you know, from Kasua area, if you're at Marlam area, don't bother to come to our common, just go to the wager and watch it and learn something from it. And it could change you so that when your husband pushes you to bleach, you tell him, no, you're not bleaching because you love yourself. That's more than you love him.
That's right, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Kula and also Lawton Yani, they are executive producers and producers of Skinned, showing tonight, Silverbird Cinemas. If you don't go, well, you don't want to be enlightened. I mean, enlightened, not the skin, but